Hey everyone, how's it going? We got another typology interview. We have Roqb or Rob, but
Yeah,
for some reason he likes to stick a Q in the middle of his name. How's it going,
yeah,
man?
yeah. Good. How's it going, man?
Good, yeah. Okay, so you, we'll start with your history and typology, but you have an interesting type because you thought you were
Yeah,
something completely different for a while, and you had a lot of people convinced.
yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't really trying to convince people necessarily. I don't think,
Right.
but I don't. I
Yeah.
don't. Maybe I was without
I
knowing
don't.
it.
Yeah.
But
Whatever happened, you were really sure of yourself.
I was. I was.
Yeah. So we'll talk about that. But first let's get to when you got typed by Dave and Chan. Like get up to that in your history.
Okay.
Right.
Just typology in general, or
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
uh, well, I got into just MBTI stuff from 16 Personalities like a few years back. I actually saw like some letters on somebody's dating profile, and that was what made me go like, what even is this? And I like Googled it, and that's how I discovered MBTI and all the different types. So
Right.
I don't know what type it was, but um, I took like 16 personalities and ended up with INFP the first time, and then I was like looking more into it and stuff. So you
Mhm.
know, and then got into OP community around January at some point, joined the class and the Facebook group and all that. So
Yeah.
now I'm on the Discord as well.
You got a buddy here.
Shout out to the Discord.
Shout out to the Discord. Uh well, we'll talk about promoting stuff. Maybe you want to stick the Discord link in the description afterwards. We can do that. I didn't.
That's Prem's thing, but
Oh, that's Prem's thing. All right.
yeah,
All right. So he can promote it on his channel. Um,
sure.
okay. So what else after
Uh,
INFP?
well, so yeah, I was kind of went back and forth on types for a long time, just like not really sure what I was and not really like getting any sort of professional feedback on it. But once I joined the class, I watched the Maisie Williams class in particular, like made me realize like I don't think I have this FI thing. Like I don't know what it was about that class exactly, but
Right.
that
How
made
did
me
you
just
get
like
into like OP though? So like you went from this dating profile to
uh
OP?
yeah, I mean I was
INFP?
watching YouTube videos all
Oh,
over the
okay.
place. Sorry, just kind of
All
zooming
right.
into OP here. But
Right.
yeah, watching lots of YouTube videos and then saw that Dave started updating his channel again with like science bro stuff.
Right.
So I was
So
like, oh, this
wait,
is
you were
interesting.
subscribed to him from before? You were watching his old stuff?
I don't know if I was subscribed or if I
Oh
was
wow,
just
this
like,
is like a horrible
sure.
blast here. This I agree with. Yeah, beginning, middle, end, man. We're good.
That's timeline stuff, right? Isn't that more
Right. Yeah,
mascot
that's true
sensory?
as well. Yeah, timeline stuff.
But I mean,
Also.
I know where we are. I'm just trying
Right.
to jump ahead, I
Yeah.
guess. Um, but yeah, just like I don't know if I was just like googling different
Apparently you're my
type.
FI. So nice to meet you, FI.
Um, yeah, so I don't know if I was just googling type video. I got kind of got out of it for a while, and then I got back into it once I saw that OP was updating stuff, and I was like, oh, this is something new to explore. Because yeah, so
Yeah, cool. All right,
I
we
could
skipped
go
over
into
that.
like a long story about it, but I don't know if it's
I
particularly
think we're
interesting.
good. Yeah, I think we got a lot out of that actually. Thank you for that. That was well done.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Sure.
All right. Okay. So the first thing that I think that like the most major thing that I think you need to explain to me because I need to figure this out. All right.
Okay.
How did you put yourself as observer when you're a decider?
I mean that one's still kind of tough for me because I feel like I see myself double deciding with
Right.
things, but I mean that might be associated with a little bit with the glass lizard stuff. Uh,
Okay.
so like I have this single activated FE at the top.
Right. And then the double TI at the bottom.
Yeah, so I'm like I have a fairly strong awareness of like my self decisions, I guess. But the
It's masculine too at the
yeah, and
bottom.
so the FE, the way I'm kind of thinking about it now and why I like thought of it as a demon before was just kind of seems like noise when I'm like trying to like figure out the decision for myself. You know, it's just like I know what all these other people think, but it's like, oh, what do I think? And, like narrowing in
Right.
on that. So
Well,
that kind of makes sense now thinking about it in terms of like accessing that is a demon, but it felt like the FE was what was getting in my way.
Okay, so let's talk about that FE a little bit then, because FE isn't just knowing what other people think and value, I guess. It's also pinging off of them, making sure that what they think is lining up with what you know about them, right? Because especially since you're that play first, right? Do you do that? Do you ping off of everybody else before you need to make a decision? Are people like, just decide already? Why are you asking me?
I don't think people are like, why are you asking me? I think I like hesitate to do it. So
to do what? To ask people or to decide for yourself?
To ask people. Like
okay.
I'm trying to get into figuring it out for myself. Like when I have a problem at work, I don't just ask someone immediately. I do try and figure that out for myself. And maybe sometimes I'm like really struggling because I'm not asking others, but I don't know. But
okay, so then
the pinging off.
So then you say it as if it's like you're just aware of the tribe. You're aware of their perspective.
Yeah, I think so.
Like you know what it is without even asking, sort of thing.
Yeah. Or I mean I see it as me kind of projecting what I think that they think. So I'm not a wizard. I don't know for sure, but yeah. I'm guessing that a lot.
Yeah. Are your decisions? Is it hard for you to decide against the tribe? Is it hard for you to make a decision that's completely selfish, or like I guess everyone would be? But I mean,
yeah.
I don't know. Benjamin, get better questions, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult, and that's one of the things I was talking about with Shannon, the call. Like that,
right?
I had this thing in one of my typing videos about how I was struggling with decisions surrounding my wedding, and like my mom wanted me to like invite some certain people, and I was like, why do I need to invite these people? And
right.
So I was like pushing back against that, but and I felt like I had my opinion, but I wanted to incorporate her decision into it. So
right. You were also we talked privately about your choosing your best man. You have like 3 people that you don't want to pick one because you're leaving out the other 2 sort of thing. Yeah. So, but like, is there one that you would pick if you could?
In the video, I felt like I kind of got to a decision, but I haven't like actually done anything about that.
Right. So like, take me through this process. Did you like, how are you coming to that decision? Are you asking other people? Are you asking them? Are you being like, would you be disappointed if I didn't pick you? Or like, how?
No, I'm trying to figure that out for myself. Yeah. And I don't know if it's
by the way, it's your fiance's guitar. Right?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
I have to clarify that all the time. I was thinking about I should slap like a sticker on this thing, like for when I go on streams. It's not mine.
Sedit asks if I think you're mistyped. I don't know yet. We're going to do this right now. We're going to figure it out.
Yeah.
What were you talking about? Taking me through your decision.
I don't know. You OE'd me.
Yeah.
Yeah. For the best man thing. I mean,
yeah.
I was talking it out in that video, like trying to sort of figure out who I wanted to pick, and it is just like these, and maybe where I'm doing it a little bit is sort of weighing the values. It's like, oh, I talked to this person a little bit more, like we've done this kind of stuff together, like that kind of thing, and I'm like, oh, I guess this person sort of edges it out, like if I have to pick one person. So
one of the things that Dave and Shen have been saying is about saviors, how they're more comfortable with contradictions and they're more comfortable with the darkness and the light and all that kind of stuff. So like in terms of FE, would you say that like you're okay, dealing with the darkness of the tribe, dealing with the darkness of emotions? Like it doesn't bother you and affect you as much? Or
Um,
I got a great question for you here in the comments, by the way, after that. Go for this one first.
yeah, I mean that's kind of a tricky question in terms of like where am I doing that? Like seeing like that there's good and bad to different people and not struggling with that, or I'm not sure.
I don't know with different people, whatever FE does, whatever FE is, like the I guess the emotional tapestry of the tribe. I don't know. Are you aware of that tapestry of like the subtle nuances in just the general chaos of the tribe?
I'm trying to like relate that back to my life, like in the workplace or something. Like if someone's upset, like I don't really know what I'm like supposed to be doing in terms of that. But
what if someone's like just really upset? Okay, someone's really upset and they're just yelling and they're going off. But they might even be right, they might be wrong. That negative vibe that they're putting off, is that something that's uncomfortable for you, or is it something that like you're trying to avoid, or you like, what do you do? Do you read the room?
I mean, if it's at me, then
if it's at you, yeah, but
yeah, then it's more bothersome. But just in general, not really. It's like I generally am trying to like see where they're coming from and stuff. So
what do you feel about the sayings like positive vibes only, that kind of stuff?
I mean that's just like not realistic, I guess. It's kind of
right. Okay, there you go. Yeah. So you're kind of more accepting of the darkness. Okay, all right. Okay, so here's this great question that we all want to know.
What's the language of love?
Like I don't know, man. You don't have to answer that. We're good. I was just joking around.
Okay.
All right. So
come on, this is science.
It's true science. What about in terms of observer conversations? Do you see yourself having those observer conversations, like talking about things, talking about, oh, how did you do that? Oh, what's the trick to that thing? That sort of stuff, or not really? You're more talking about people.
What's the trick to that thing?
I don't know. Just throwing stuff out there. You get the
I have so much trouble like pulling like examples from my life to relate back to what you're talking about, and that's kind of where I go to try and do that. But
yeah. So Emily says that you play D&D with her, right?
Yeah. Well, not today.
Not today. So I know about your group. See, I'm in the know.
Oh, yeah. Good job. Yeah.
So basically, it's hard for you to see your FE, I guess, because it's your top function.
Yeah. So I don't know. Like I felt like I saw it, but I saw it as like a demon thing. That's like the best way I feel like I can describe it in terms of like it was. Like I kind of wanted to ask you how you feel about that in terms of like you're in a group situation and you're trying to like form your own opinion. Like, do the opinions of others act as like noise for you trying to do that? Like, are you trying to factor those in, or are you just like able to get to yours? Because that's where I feel like a potential difference.
There you go. Yeah. So. No, I get to my opinion, no problem. And then afterwards, I'll go out and usually I'll just go off and do it on my own anyways, just whatever I decide was my decision. But if I do want to take in feedback, it's always after the fact, after I've already come to something, I guess. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So you're not that way at all, I guess.
I don't know. I feel like there's like simple examples like going to lunch or something where it's like I kind of have my defaults, so it's not really like making a decision necessarily on the fly. Mm-hmm. So that's maybe not as good as an example, but if you're like talking something out in a meeting and trying to really think things through, or I'm trying to potentially like weigh up what other people are thinking about these different things, that's where it gets a little more complicated, and the decision maybe becomes harder for me to get to. Yeah.
We got a great question here. If you could wave a realistic, why realistic magical wand? What's the is there such a thing? Where do you want to be in a year from now?
Like physically, or
Yeah, I don't know, man.
um,
I guess he's trying to get to your demon and I guess, a little bit.
oh, well, I'm at the point in my life where I kind of have like a rough plan of what's going on, where my fiance is going to graduate from grad school soon, and we're probably going to move somewhere, but we don't really know where yet. So
Yeah,
we should work on that. But wedding is like the next thing that we're targeting. So
yeah. So like, okay, we'll get to all that other stuff. I'm still trying to figure out why decider and not observer, because like you saw yourself as observer. So what about in terms of double observing? Like, do you see sometimes that people get stuck on observations and that you don't?
not really.
Do you feel like you get stuck on observations? Missing information?
So yeah, one of the things that I thought I was doing was kind of speculating about things without actually going and looking it up, and just kind of like leaving that information kind of like for someone else to figure out. So
Right.
that's kind of something that I thought I was doing. But
Yeah.
well,
Well, that's the
yeah,
other
I
thing. You
don't
thought
really
you
know
were
if that's what
NE
NE.
Dom. Yeah,
Yeah.
you thought you were NE Dom. So have you seen that you're not using NE, or it still feels like you're using NE?
So I mean that one's tricky for me in terms of like understanding what OP any is versus like other things too. I guess I kind of like always kind of came in thinking like, yeah, that's I have any, and I was more questioning the FI versus TI stuff.
Right.
And then like decider observer, I was questioning a little bit, but
Okay.
thought potentially more DI. Uh, so
But like, it's like you were seeing that NE so strongly that you're like, okay, I'm NE Dom, basically, is what you were doing.
yeah, and I didn't really have much in terms of questioning about that. I just like I never really felt like I understood what NI was, so it didn't. I was like, that's probably just not me. Like, I don't think I do that. I don't know, but
Yeah. No, because like we've even had conversations where you were asking me about NI, and it felt like you were this alien asking about NI.
yeah,
But I guess you're not. Like you know what NI is.
maybe.
Maybe.
I don't know. Like, I was thinking about this earlier because I figured it would come up like how I perceive it.
Right.
But I don't know. I guess I just like the masculine intuition thing. That kind of makes sense to me, where it's kind of like buckets of information, and then like the stuff that flows in and out of them is kind of whatever. Um, so like the concepts are more hard, but
So okay, so this is something I think you actually even pointed out to me. I was getting confused a while in my interviews with between feminine SE and NE.
mhm.
That was you that pointed it out, right?
Well, you said something about like you get annoyed by feminine NE, and I was like, maybe it's just like feminine OE that's just like all over the place, annoying you, which I have. So watch
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, I don't know if it's annoyingness, being annoyed. It's just overwhelmed, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah. So okay, so here's the thing. Maybe your feminine SE was tricking you to thinking it's any.
yeah. I mean, I even wrote something after the Brie Larson class. Like a bunch of people had typed her as NE, and I had typed her as feminine SE. And I was trying to kind of parse like how those things can look the same, um, but apparently didn't do it to myself. Um,
All right. Okay. So
yeah.
let's talk about your sensoriness. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna get you in with someone like with Thomas Eilert, I guess, at some point, because he's also double feminine FESE, and he's gonna
Okay.
help me pin you down because he knows exactly what you're up to. If you're his twin type.
That sounds scary.
Yeah, we're gonna get you.
You're scaring me, man. I'm a decider.
All right. Feminine SE. Um, are you like, okay, is sensory world important to you? Do you feel responsible for the sensory world? Do you feel responsible for, I don't know. I don't know. Do you feel like you're gathering sensory?
So this is another thing where I was kind of thinking about this in terms of like how I was thinking that I was N over S, and just like going on walks, I feel like I'm just like more going into my head. Like I'm not like necessarily looking out at what's going on around me as much. But I don't know if that's just like me going into double masculine sleep and just kind of
In the
tuning it
end,
out. Like I know where I'm at and just go.
yeah. Well, in the end, all of our functions are in our head. Like even SD, the most like sensory out world thing, is still in our head, I guess.
Sure.
But I mean,
what was your question?
Okay, what about in terms of the sensory being
sensory?
movable, being feminine? Do you see the sensory, at least do you see your sensory being feminine? Like
Yeah.
the sensory world is movable? Yeah.
Yeah.
Your intuition is masculine?
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
So like, how do you see that then? Why does that make sense?
Kind of what I was talking about before with the sort of relating things back to single concepts, trying to say like, I'm working on this. These are like the things that are related to it. They're all kind of go in here. And in terms of me not really organizing it, it's all just kind of like dumped in there. And yeah, that's just kind of like when you ask me about typology, like a bunch of just like, I'll just pull out a bunch of stuff.
Right, unorganized sensory.
Like when you were asking me about the my history with typology, it's like I can go back to the beginning, and then there's like some stuff in there. Like I don't know how much you want.
Right.
It's somewhat ordered, I guess, but
what about in terms of like channel changing? Like, do you feel like you always have to change the channel in your head? You always have to get something new, something different? Because I guess you are a skib.
Yeah. I mean, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like what about you? How's your focus?
In general, I mean, I get bored when I'm doing like kind of mundane things. It's like I multitask a lot, but focus in general.
Multitasking is definitely a channel changing thing.
Yeah, like during meetings.
Okay, what about in terms of like play above sleep? So like your energy dom. So like, do you feel like you're figuring out how to preserve energy after? You just spend energy now, and then afterwards they'll be like, oh, okay, I probably should have not been so energetic today. After the fact, on the back end.
Yeah, I haven't thought about like how that kind of ebbs and flows throughout my day exactly, but I feel like normally when I get up, I'm kind of just like doing a bunch of stuff, and then later in the day I'll crash or something, or try and sort of preserve my energy a little bit when doing something more mundane, kind of balance that kind of stuff out. So, yeah.
So okay, I hit you at something here. Apparently, I'm worse than you at interviewing officially. But is the sensory important to you?
Well, I'm getting better.
Well, I'm getting worse apparently. I'm not kidding.
There you go. Sorry, what was the question?
I don't know. Is the sensory world important to you?
That's too abstract of a question for the censor here,
isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. Like,
do you want to try to get more specific?
I don't know.
Maybe figure out a question that's better for yourself. You can interview yourself on this question.
Like, it's in terms of like visuals and stuff, but then is that like the visual thing? Like I like to have like brighter colors and stuff around me, so that matters to me. What? It doesn't look like it.
It doesn't look like it. Lots of gray going in.
I mean, I'm right in front of the window, so.
Yeah. All right. Anyways, so Are you aware of like the popular trends and things that are going on in that realm?
Not really.
No. Oh, you're not helping me out here at all.
Not really.
Like, okay, so I was interviewing one person, SEFE and
That's the kind of thing
FEFE.
that I feel like I'm always like told about.
Right. So anyways, I was talking to Tom and to Theodore. They're both Play First, SEFE and FESE. And they just had this long conversation about TikTok, how it's going to be huge and how they see the trends coming and all that kind of stuff.
Isn't
Is
it
that the kind of
already
thing?
huge?
Yeah, it is. Anyways, well, there you go. Like, it's obvious. But like,
Well,
was that this kind of thing that you were seeing, that you were paying attention to?
I mean, I've had a bunch of people tell me about TikTok recently. I don't really go on it myself, but
Yeah.
I've heard of it. Maybe I do know about it more than the average person.
Right.
I don't know. But
Okay. So this is the question I wanted to ask you too. Okay, so you're big into Magic the Gathering. Am I allowed to say that?
Too
It's
late.
too late now. But anyways, you're pretty big into that.
Sure.
Are you into it in terms of like SF? Like for you, is that your SF world?
So in terms of like just I listen to like a lot of podcasts, and I don't know if I mentioned this to you before, but I like listen to it and just like consume content on it more than I actually play it.
Right.
So there's a lot of just like theorizing going on there, which again I kind of thought that was more like NT consume kind of stuff, but sure, maybe it's just like SEFE play in terms of like I'm getting the opinions of these guys, trying to like triangulate some kind of thing. So yeah, just trying to understand like where things are going.
Mm-hmm.
So there's like a little bit of like them giving me some of that guessing, like what matters in the meta right now, because it's like certain cards that are better at certain times than others, and decks, and then there's general skills that are always good to learn. But a lot of like the new stuff that's always coming in is like, how does this card play out with what else is going on and things like that. So
okay, so would you say that is kind of like outsourcing your sleep, like getting them to help you sleep, like organize the information, like they're organizing it for you because you don't want to?
I mean, that's an interesting way to look at it, because in terms of like sleep, I just think of that as something I kind of need to do alone, but maybe that is kind of like grabbing some of that from them. Yeah, I kind of have difficulty with prioritizing, so getting a lot of opinions to help me sort of narrow down maybe that is what's going on there. I'm not sure.
Help you narrow down.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's okay. All right, let's talk about that prioritizing a little bit. Because this is something when we talked, I saw was sort of demon feeling, but so I want to talk about that. So what are priorities? What are your priorities? What is everyone else's priorities? Do you want to just tell us a little bit about priorities?
I mean, so that's an area where I really see like the instead of OI coming into play, in terms of like I have all this stuff and I'm just like not narrowing down on like what I can realistically get done. So that's where I see like the priorities then become a problem, because I have to limit my options to do that. Mm-hmm. So it is just like that. I don't want to do that, so I'm just going to kind of avoid it a lot of the time. So that can be a problem. And then there's some things that I just don't really want to be doing. So, but they are a priority. So fighting that,
like what
aspect of it, like going to get my car serviced. I just like don't like calling and doing that stuff.
Yeah.
There might be some demon TI aspect in that, in terms of like I don't feel like I totally know what I'm supposed to know about.
Well, why don't we just give a general question out there? Does anyone out there actually like going to get their car serviced? I don't know if that defines you as a person.
No, so for me, there's this aspect of like feeling like I don't necessarily know enough about it. Like it's a potential place where I could be taken advantage of, kind of thing. So that in particular is just like, oh man, I'm going to do this wrong, kind of stuff, and I'll put it off. Taxes is kind of the same way.
Yeah. Again, does anyone out there like taxes?
Well, just like the motivations behind it, though, like that's where I have the issue. So I assume like other people have problems with these things, like they find them boring, of course, but it's.
I'm assuming so that you're trolling us right here, because this is not. That's not a hobby. You should go get examined if that's your hobby. Find a better hobby.
Oh damn!
No, I'm just kidding. If that's your hobby, power to you.
Oh wow, that's double deciding. Way to go.
Yeah, was that what I just did? All right. Okay, so well, you stroked my ego a little bit. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
What about in terms of seeing the social value in things, in people, do you identify a little bit more with that?
Oh, I thought you were gonna give me a more specific question. I was just nodding that I understood where you're going.
You're gonna make my job hard, aren't you? I love you, Blast Lasters. You guys are great.
All right, man. Yeah. So social value, like, I mean, I feel like I have an awareness of those things. It's not like I necessarily feel the obligation to engage with them. So like, I know that TikTok is like a thing, but I don't really want to get into it. I have enough going on. I don't need another thing. I'm trying to limit down. I'm doing my best.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Okay, what about in terms of making sure that there's some kind of harmony? I know harmony is just this, like, FE hates it when they get referred to as being harmony, but
I don't hate that word, but
yeah,
like, because it's just like making sure that there's like some level of you're meeting on some plane of like we can have a conversation here. So I think that's important, that you're not just having this.
Do you feel responsible to put energy to make sure that there's this sort of plane that you're talking about?
I think I do in some ways. So like we have these awkward Zoom team calls now with our team once a week, now that everybody's like at home. And like if those are like really kind of dying because no one's like saying anything, I'll like feel kind of obligated to like try and shake things up in some way. So and I've often thought of myself as like the king of the introverts, and that like if I'm in a group of introverts, I'll be like the one to like really start stimulating the conversation. But if I'm not in a group where that is really needed, then I'm just like more reserved. Right. So yeah.
Okay, so there was an interesting line of questioning that Shan took you through to make you realize that you were an EJ on your own, to like lead you to your own. So do you want to just tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, and we can link the article if.
Sure. Yeah, we'll give you all the links. I'm sure Rob has a whole bunch of links. He's going to put them all in the description at the end. So you pass them all to me, and they're all going there.
I don't have those organized, but I do have some.
Well, just send them to me one at a time over the next week, and we'll get them there.
So the line of questioning that she took me down, just kind of, so it started out with like, why did I want to like have this call in the first place? Because I don't know, I guess doing her SE research online, she saw that I was kind of settled on my type potentially.
Right.
Might have seen the video I had with Jack getting typed in socionics recently. That seemed to somewhat align with that type that I arrived at as well. Mm-hmm. And like asking me why I wanted to know about my type from her. And I was like, well, all these people are saying like they don't really believe in self-types and all this stuff, and so you guys like really have the like hold on this. But she was like really pushing me to see like why I wanted to know, and
Right.
so
And so
that
why did
kind
you
of
want
like
to
goes
know?
back to the original reason I would like interested in typology, which is just kind of understanding myself and
Right.
being able to push myself forward in certain areas where I feel like I'm getting stuck with the LE and all that stuff.
Okay, so we have someone here calling you an Oprah. And then we have a very inappropriate question. What's your guilty pleasure?
That's, I don't know if it's an inappropriate question.
Not inappropriate. No, I'm just picking on Peter because he asked that question
Well,
about.
well, so this one seems to like really fall under like guilty pleasure, but me and my fiance recently started watching The Bachelor, so
Okay, all
that
right.
that's one that we started really enjoying.
Are you
Just
are
like
you
it's fun to make comments on the Reddit posts and stuff.
so you're watching it for the Reddit posts?
I I, I don't think I would have gotten into it as much if I didn't start watching like commentary videos and then seeing like the live comments that thread that there is on Reddit. So engaging with that a little bit. So that's fun to do, just like making jokes as it's going along. Because people don't take that show seriously.
Are
Like
you sure? I think you just offended. Oh, well, you would know better than anyone else. You're FE, right?
I,
You know how people take the show.
I mean, I think they want people to potentially like find something
You
good
said that
out of
with
it, but they
confidence.
realize that like 90% of what's going on is just like ridiculous. So
Yeah. It's crazy how confident you are with that statement, actually, because I would have doubted myself if I would have said that.
I,
So like you obviously know that
I've done the
nobody
consume.
takes that show seriously. Like that's just your
Okay.
vibe on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Are you a cult
Like,
leader?
at least where I'm hanging out. So maybe on Instagram it's a little different, but am I a cult leader? I don't think so.
Right.
I
Do you want
have
to be?
I have the most points on our OPS Discord, which just means I'm there way too much. But
Well, I have never had this many questions. You're like stimulating a lot of random questions.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I have
Okay.
free weights I don't use.
That's good. Those are the best kinds. I like those better. Okay, let's get serious here. We're doing too much energy dom stuff. So let's talk about your NI. Well, we talked about it a little bit. What about in terms of being masculine? Do you see that you're not really movable on your intuitive observations once you get one?
Yeah, and like I said, I have trouble seeing that aspect of myself still. Trying to figure out like what an intuitive insight even is. Just in terms of like a single NI possibility, but um, I do think back to this moment where my parents were away on vacation and I saw that their car was gone and I was like, wait, what was going on here? And like I was like, did someone like break in and steal their car? I was like kind of freaking out because I was like supposed to be like watching over their house and watering their plants and stuff.
Yeah, that's
But
a great example.
and so I was like, no way this happened. I don't know what happened, but can't be that. But it's like the only thing that I could really think of at the time. But one of the things I do in situations like that is try and like convince myself that it's like extremely unlikely that happened.
Yeah.
Which, like, I'm lucky enough to come from a suburban neighborhood where that sort of thing is pretty uncommon. So,
Right.
um,
So that could be an observer freak out a little bit, that kind of thing. But it doesn't. It seems like you were just more balanced on it. Like you were able to balance yourself off.
yeah, and yeah, I guess that is a potential place where I was able to do that and just say like, no, this is like super unlikely, and realize that my sister had like borrowed her car for some reason. I can't even remember why, but it's like,
Okay.
why would she do that? But it just like freaked me out to like see it gone. It's like, they're not here.
Just to inform you, you have a cult member that needs to be burned at the stake for outing you.
Oh man.
Okay.
Yeah, I just can't believe I'm an ENFJ. That just doesn't make any sense to me. But how am I a J?
Well, you're a jumper as well. You're not a J.
I know.
You're EP ENFJ.
Yeah.
Okay, masculine TI. Okay, now this is something that when I've interviewed Thomas, it's something just stood out. It just hits you in the face. He'll argue with you over the reasons. No problem. Like this is something I don't see that from you. What's going on with there?
I don't know.
Because you saw yourself as TI somewhat savior.
Yeah.
Are you arguing in your head and just not saying how dumb this person is, or are you just insecure about it and don't want to say but it's there, it's punchy underneath the surface, and you're just insecure? Am I right or wrong?
I'll argue about things I've truly processed, I think.
Right.
So
there you go.
I don't think I'm overly defensive about a lot of things. I'm kind of I feel like I'm pretty open to different perspectives. So that's the kind of thing where it's like, oh yeah, sure you are, but
right.
But I mean, I'd like to think that I'm pretty open to things until I've processed them. So we say I was pretty set on a particular type, but I kind of shaken myself off of that a little bit before going into the phone call to try and keep an open mind, convince myself. I'm not totally sure about some of these things. Not all of it's making sense to me. So it's definitely open to a new perspective. And I think some of the stuff on the phone call was Shan sort of feeling me out in terms of am I just gonna get into an argument here with this guy? So
yeah, right. She was trying to feel you out to not. Yeah.
I don't know if I'm potentially more aware of my propensity to do that, but
I want to get back to this, but we have a good question here. Why do you think you are liked by the tribe? I mean, that's assuming that you are liked by the tribe, but
because I don't bicker about stuff like that.
Yeah, right. There you go. Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I try and see others' perspectives and see where they're coming from. We were talking before about the intention. I think people in general have good intentions and are trying to, be seen in their own way. So it's I was watching some of the ENFJ stuff more recently. Now having been typed as one on when there was a video they did about Barbara Cochran or whatever, talking about how she kind of feels for the people who are really struggling to figure things out because she struggled with math and stuff at school. So in some way I kind of see that in myself. But
yeah, so
I'll peek out my TI and say I did pretty good at math in school. So
yeah, I mean, okay, so the demon TI. So that's one of the things that it was good that you answered, that why are you liked by the tribe? And it's okay, well, I'm not arguing with them. I'm not showing my TI constantly, because that's what I got, the masculine TI, and that's why I know that I'm usually not liked by the tribe, because that little bugger keeps just making everyone hate you, And so if you have it at the bottom like that and you're insecure about it and you're not using it, well then naturally, of course, you're going to be liked. I don't know.
And blast, people can kind of walk all over you, so they like to do that,
They can walk all over you. Yeah, they're just the most pushy, non-controlling people. Yeah,
and that's kind of why I basically had to end up with a SE polar and socionics, just because that the way they think of force there, that kind of seems like blast stuff to me, but other things too. But
yeah. Okay, that's actually a good point. Do you feel like you need things to be grounded in reality before you accept them?
Do you have an example?
Anything any weird, crazy theory that someone's coming to you with, like tarot cards or astrology, or Typology. Do you feel like you need it to be grounded in reality? Like, do you feel like you're responsible that it actually is real?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I would say yes. In
I
terms of
guess,
like
yeah.
you sort of need to be able to see that this is actually doing something for someone. I mean, it could be like a more ethereal value that someone's getting, but like if it's actually doing something for someone, then
Mhm. What about current events? Are you on top of current events? Is it important to know what's going on around you?
I've tried to be a little bit better about being just like a good citizen, you know, in general in the past few years. So trying to tune into those things a little bit more with the news and such. I more keep up with like the comedy news sources, which I know isn't like the best way
Yeah.
to do that, but it's yeah, just trying to stay aware of what's going on.
What about a responsibility to the immediate moment that's going on around you? Do you maybe even get lost in the moment and forget that there's like a future or a past or something else?
hmm.
Like right now, are you trapped in this moment? Like, are you responsible to the moment in front of you?
I would say I'm pretty locked in. I'm not like thinking about what I'm going to do after this right now. So
Right.
I'd say so. Um, if it's enough to like keep me engaged, you know, because I do have a tendency to kind of tune out if it's not like constantly
Right. If it's not drawing your attention.
stimulating in some way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which
That's the
that's kind
channel
of
changing.
like a lot of the stuff. Yeah, and so like watching TV, I'll like be doing some other things all the time, like when I was growing up, and like playing video games is like keeps my hands busy while I'm doing something. So it's,
Hmm.
yeah, and then I'm more focused in on things. I'm not spacing out. I don't know if other people are doing that when they're playing video games, but
We got a question actually. So you have a YouTube channel, an interview channel. So why did you start interviewing?
uh, well, so that was partially just because I liked the idea of trying to get interviews with people before they got typed,
Yeah.
as well as a bit of a challenge to myself to kind of put myself out there a little bit. Not something I was super keen on doing before now. So yeah,
Are you going to keep up with the interviews at all?
I think so.
Yeah.
Um,
So let's talk about it. Talk about your YouTube channel a little bit.
okay. Well, so far I've just been doing interviews with people before they plan to get typed by OPS. So people in the community can like guess at the coins and stuff. I've
Hmm.
been including Google Forms in the description so that they can do that. So it's kind of just like the classes, like give people a chance to make a guess at someone's type, but with a real person beforehand.
Okay.
I don't know. Just getting to
Um,
know people too. I enjoy that. So
so
doing
what do you
some epi
prefer to
stuff.
let, we'll keep talking about that. We got a good question. What do you prefer to
Yeah.
let your fiance do? What do you outsource to her?
Cooking. I'm not good at that. She's also kind of
You're a
picky.
tester though. Like a tester, isn't a tester supposed to be somewhat good at cooking?
I don't know.
No?
I just I get I get really frustrated. I always feel like it takes me so long. So
Yeah.
I'm always like, why is this taking so long? I don't. It's just like following the ordered list of things I need to be doing. Like I don't know. I have trouble with it. So
Okay, your buddy has a good segue to get us back to your thing, but first he wants to ask you, what did you learn about during the interview time so far?
what have I learned during the time interviewing? Hmm. Um, I think that it's just not as big of a deal as I thought it was before.
Well, okay,
This
so
really
tell
isn't
me
that
about that.
hard, Benjamin. What you're doing here, it's not that big a deal.
Dude, you're
No,
not an IP, man. So what was intimidating about it at the beginning? Because I identify with that.
I mean, just putting my face out there, like people that have watched my interviews like know I've like stumbled a little bit. It's like, what's the next question? Where are we going with this? Like, and I'm trying to do something a little bit different in that I want to make sure that I kind of get a balanced view of this person, right? Where I want to kind of get them in, like, to tell me where they're coming from, like a little bit about their background, and then maybe dig into that a little bit, and enough to sort of reveal a little bit about what's going on with them, what they're sort of avoiding talking about, so we can kind of get a view at their type. But yeah, so
Yeah.
It's been interesting to try and play that game. Maybe it's a little bit of needing to really narrow down in the moment to ask like a pointed question. So that's been a bit of a challenge to me. So I don't know if I said what I learned, but
so you have a blog and a website. We actually promoted it on this channel before. Your blog, I guess, your website, or is it the same thing? Or are they different things?
I mean, they're different platforms. So yeah.
Okay, so you do have a blog and a website and a YouTube channel. All right, so I'm gonna add it.
No, I have a. Technically, I do have my own personal website, but I'm not really promoting that. But the subjectivepersonality.com site is where I'm working on sort of introductory articles about OPS and some stuff about the class and things like that. So, and the YouTube channel is kind of, so far, just the interviews. I might be doing additional content on it later, but
cool.
I need to figure out what that would look like.
So what do you prefer working on, or if you had to pick one?
I mean,
like an FI question, man. What are you doing?
I mean, I like the control aspect of being able to like write an article. It does get to be kind of time consuming and take longer than I generally would like, because I probably just kind of stress over a little bit too much, and maybe I need to get better at sort of letting go of the hold on that kind of stuff, which the interviews kind of forced me to do. So I think in terms of like growth, the YouTube channel has been better for me, but I really like being able to cultivate that. I don't know what to call it, but cultivate the website and what it is.
Yeah.
So
Peter's got another question for you. What's something you wish you were better at?
Probably like prioritizing, I think, is like one of the things that's just like, figuring out what
you should be doing first, kind of prioritizing, or what's more important to you prioritizing?
It's kind of like what's going to have like the most value down the road, and like really like being able to see that and realize that. And so, I mean, that kind of sounds like the NI, it's like the NF blast type thing, where it's like what is actually going to have value in the long run that I'm kind of missing out on. So.
Mm-hmm. What do you think is going to have value in the long run in your life?
In my life, my college degree.
Your college degree?
Yeah.
So you're told.
I'd like to think that something like the Subjective Personality website could live on and like have benefit to people in the long run. So like creating things like that, like tools that people can then go and use to leverage, to learn. It's something I value.
What about being responsible for like visual aesthetics and stuff on your website? Do you even care about the visual aesthetics of your website?
Oh, yes.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. How much do you care? Is it like the most important thing, the least important thing?
I mean, I just think it's just like part of you like arrive there, and it gives you an immediate sense of like what we're about. I think is it's mostly just me, but at the moment,
it's you and Noor, I guess.
Yeah. She kind of said she didn't want to work on it as much recently, but yeah.
Right. All right. So it's Rob and whoever his new partner will end up being. Anyone out there who wants to help actually put in some hours.
I'm potentially looking for people to volunteer to write stuff, but I haven't thrown a banner out there. But I guess now
you just did. It's too late. Can't take it back.
I've been meaning to organize things that I felt like people could work on.
Right. Meaning to organize. Yeah.
Yeah. So
What was I even asking you? Something.
I
The
don't know what the last
aesthetics.
thing, the value in the long
You
run.
feel responsible for the aesthetics of your website?
Yeah. I mean, I have a computer science and an art degree. Like I got a
Okay.
double major. So that's just like something that I'm interested in. I don't know, passionate about is the word, but you know, I I, I like you said, my background's not particularly exciting right now, but
No, well,
it would be
apparently
kind
you've
of hard
got
to
some
change
amazing
that.
cartoons in all caps.
Yeah. So I would like to add more of that kind of stuff, but then it's like that would be even longer before I put out an article. So
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Too much organizing.
Yeah, I mean, there's some of my like older articles. Like when I first got into MBTI, like I actually created a website where at the time I thought I was like an ENFP or something, um, and so I was writing some stuff about that, and I had like illustrations like every other paragraph or something. So I still have those archived on my current website that people can see, but that kind of like demotivated me from working on it because it just took me so long to get that stuff out. Like I'd write the article and then be like, okay, now I need to go back and draw like 10 things that I'm that I feel like are worthy of being in this article or something. So and
And
they're
did
mostly
you?
like tools, but yeah. Sorry.
And did you? You went back and drew 10 things?
I did back in the day, yeah, but then it
Yeah.
took me like a month to get an article out. So
Yeah, back in the day when, telephones were still on the wall and way back then.
yeah.
Cool, man. Is there anything else you want to promote or anything you want to tell us about your type that maybe?
Um, I mean, I have a Word doc that I link to in the article where I sort of like revealed my type to people, so people can see more about my thoughts on there and my stupid EJ thoughts and opinions on it. Um, but so I'm sure I have more thoughts, but nothing that's coming to mind. So
Well, first of all, I want you to know, don't knock the EJ thoughts.
that was, I
You
mean,
guys
that's
are
a
worth
joke.
more than you know. Yeah, no, I know it's a joke, but I want to tell you, you guys are worth more than you know, especially FE DOMs. Just what you're responsible for seeing is something that I feel that not a lot of people are responsible for seeing. Yet to be seen if you are FE or not. But just like you take responsibility for something that nobody even cares about, no one even worries about, and it's just like this cohesiveness, this a community sense of community that you guys end up creating. It's like it, it's a thankless job. You know what I mean? It's something that no one really values, but once
Mm-hmm.
you're gone, then they'll notice like what happened. Something's missing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Do you identify with that at all?
I don't know about the when I'm gone, something's missing kind of thing, but
Okay, yeah, because you don't know. You're always there.
yeah,
But I mean,
yeah.
I guess you at least notice when there's another FE Dom or like at least FE second who's maybe taking the burden off of you a little bit or taking over that role
Mm-hmm.
and just letting you be a bit more free.
Maybe. I, I wonder sometimes there's like this aspect of like competitiveness that might come out in terms of like someone else is like controlling what the vibe is going on here and it's like weird. I don't know if
Right.
that's like an FE thing going
Well,
on.
it's definitely something you would be sensitive to if you are FE Dom. You would be definitely sensitive to, like, I'm sensitive to it, especially like as an inferior FE, is like when someone's trying to control the vibe and not let it. A lot of my viewers actually hate it when that's what I do on my show. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And thinking about it, it might not be another FE person. It might be like someone that's being like particularly DI heavy too. So
Yeah, that's
just
right.
like kind of making the things about him or
There you
her.
go. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah.
So you're sensitive to someone who's making everything about them. Well, I guess DEs do that sometimes when they have those swings.
Mm-hmm.
Have you done that in the past? Made everything about you, like when in your demon swing? That's full of crap. I can see your face.
I can't really think of something in particular, but
Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool. Awesome.
I, I don't have a great memory, so positive vibes only.
So apparently, yeah, you're contributing something just by being there. Yeah. But like that, so that's the thing, right? That's what it looks like from the outside that Effie is doing. That like, okay, they're just there. That's how they contribute. But it's actually a lot of work. Like, this is what I was gathering from other Effie users. It's like, it's not, no, I'm not just here. I'm actually doing a lot of stuff that you're not even know. Like, that's the beauty of it. You don't even know all the energy you're putting into it. It's just, you're still doing it, even though, I don't know, do you relate to that?
Well, so are you saying that other FE users have said that they're putting a lot of energy into it?
Yeah, they're putting a lot of energy. It's really draining. And it just seems like, that's just naturally who they are. They're just naturally lighting up the room, or they're just not like, they're just taken for granted because it is so much work. Like, putting so much energy in so many people that you don't really see it.
I don't ever feel like it's work.
Right.
So I don't really relate to that.
So what do you relate to then? Correct me then.
Doesn't really feel like a burden in that way to me, but I do feel like somewhat obligated to try and like increase the mood in a room if it feels like it's really sagging. And I feel like I'm almost doing that somewhat selfishly because I'm like I'm kind of bored. So like do something, but so some play over sleep kind of thing. But
yeah. Okay. Well, Jeffrey kind of agrees with that. That like. So that's the thing. Like, it's something that we take for granted. We don't really even realize that you guys are doing that. So I don't know. Like, do you feel responsible at least to put in all that energy? Because it's a lot of energy. It's like putting an egg in every single basket, sort of thing. Do you relate to that kind of stuff where it's just like you're just putting energy in so many people that without the desire to get anything back, I guess, even.
yeah. So for me, I would probably go back to the way I was describing it before, with it feeling like a demon sometimes, and that it's like a distraction where I'm like, oh, is this person like okay? Should I like be checking on them, kind of thing?
Oh,
Is everybody like doing okay? Maybe like a vibe type stuff. So
yeah.
yeah,
Well, I mean,
so that might be something that like maybe I'm not acting on it as much, and that's where like this thing with like the blast being so heavily associated with kind of like EJ-ness in general
yeah,
with
like
MBTI,
controlling. Yeah.
like that's where I'm just like there's like some kind of split between like how you traditionally think of an EJ and like how I think of myself, where it's like I don't feel like responsible to kind of like launch into these things, but
Right.
maybe to have like an awareness and like if I'm in the moment with these people, like doing something. But
Well, one thing I have noticed is you have your own little clique, whatever it is. Like, you've got some people that are on the Roqb team, sort of thing, that are that like, I don't know how to describe it, but it's like you're putting that energy in people, and you do see it. Like, you do see that, okay, that's creating some kind of community, that's creating some kind of vibe and culture that people are coming together around it in some way.
mm-hmm.
Are you aware of that? Do you see that? Does that happen to you in other places of your life as well?
there's a there's a Facebook like group of people from my work, and the picture is like a Jesse Eisenberg. I forget what the group is actually called on there, but yeah, it's like some joke about my name. So like I'm like the mascot essentially for the Facebook group because they're like making a little dig at me. But
There you go. Mascot of your own team. Anyways,
yeah,
that's a great place to end, I guess. Great as any. So yeah, check out all of the links that you're going to send me at some point.
yeah, sure, I can do that.
For subjectivepersonality.com and your YouTube channel for now. And thank you for coming out, everyone. Have a good one. Peace.
Yeah. See you guys.
Stick around, you.